Hi, my name is Alex, and I currently volunteer at KinderCare in the preschool room. I have previously worked there in the past as a full-time preschool teacher, but I decided to come back to observe. And it's been a really fun experience being able to sit back and see other teachers' teaching techniques and things that they do. I've definitely found some things that I would like to carry on into my career and things that I would like to leave behind. With that being said, this is my library project. Here are the contents of what we'll be going over. And then this is the information that I gathered from the books that included gender. And this is the information in graph form. So for just female characters, there were 45.6% female characters in the books that I read. For male characters, there were 38%, and then for non-human characters such as like talking animals, there were 16.5%. And then for main characters, for female main characters, it was 48.8%. For male main characters, it was 24.4%, and for non-human main characters, it was 26.8%. I was not really shocked that the non-human main characters were higher up. I thought it would have been higher than that because it is a preschool classroom, so they do have a lot of books about that involve talking animals. I was shocked a little bit though. It was higher than the male characters. This is the information that I've gathered for books that included race and the main characters with race. So these are the results in graph form, and I realized that it's pretty much 50-50 with for just characters in general for white and black and African American characters. Those are about 50-50 about those characters being included in books. And then same with non-human, Asian American, and Latin characters. Those were about the same. And then as well as Middle Eastern and Arab, and then Native and Indigenous characters. Those were about the same. But for the main characters, it was pretty much mainly non-human, white, and then black and African American. And then even for Latin. And then for disabilities and the results in the graph form. So out of 50 books, there were only 6 books that showed any sort of disability. And then for the books that included a main character with a disability, there was only 1 book that did so, which was really disappointing when looking through that, especially because in the classroom that I'm in, there are a few students that do have a disability. So I was pretty shocked to see that there were not any or that many books that had main characters with disabilities. And then for religion and language, there were only 8 books out of 50 that included languages other than English and characters who spoke different languages rather than English. And then 6 books out of 50 that featured characters participating in religious practices or events, so such as different holidays and things of the such. And then here are the photos of the books that I got to read. And then here are my classroom demographics. So I have 13 female students in my class. I have 7 male students, and then I have no students that have or are non-binary or transgender. So there is 35% male students in my classroom and 65% female students in my classroom. Alrighty, and then for Black or African American students, I have 3. For Asian or Asian American students, I have 0. For Latin students, I have 3. For Native and Indigenous students, I have 0. For Middle Eastern Arab or Arab American, I have 0. And for white, I have 14. So there is 70% of my students that are white in my classroom, so it is a majority of white demographic rather than any other race or culture. So how many students in my classroom have family who are lesbian, gay, or bisexual? There are 2 students in my classroom who have gay parents, I believe. And then I have have disabilities or family with disabilities. There are 4 students in my classroom that have disabilities. Speak languages other than English or multilingual. I have 2 students that speak different languages. And then have family structure other than two parents and two children, and I had five for that. Um, there was the question about religious, and that I was not able to answer because the main teacher in the classroom couldn't even give me a set answer on that. Um, yeah. And then how many students in my classroom lived in rural areas? There's 2, urban 0, suburban is 18, so it was majorly suburban areas. So how did my classroom do as a mirror? I do not believe that there were many books represented in mirroring in my classroom. There were maybe a handful of books that a child would be able to look at and think that it reflects on their own lives. The main books that are shown below are showing mirroring in the categories of race and religion. So a lot of the books below do have multilingual characteristics where they show a character speaking about their not religion, but they're speaking on the holiday or they're speaking on their cultural backgrounds. But that was pretty much it for mirroring. And then how did my library do as a window? I do think that they could have improved on their window as well. I do not believe that there were many books that were showed other people's ways of living. Out of 50 books, there were only about 8 books that showed different languages, 6 books that showed disabilities, and 6 that showed religion. There were a good amount of books that did have plenty mixed gender and mixed races, but I do feel as though there could be some improvement made. So some book recommendations that I have are for gender. This one's for gender and it's called Being You. This book speaks about race, gender, consent, and body positivity. This book can help with a child understand who they are and what it means to be them. It can help them boost their self-esteem and encourage self-development. And then a book recommendation for race. This book speaks on multiple different ethnicities and different disabilities. This book can help a child accept who they are and understand their uniqueness. There's uniqueness all around us. So this is a book recommendation that I have for disabilities, which is based off of a chapter book called Wonder. This book speaks on a child who is a little bit different, but shows others how to look past that and see beneath the surface of their disability. This is my book recommendation for religion. This book speaks on 7 different children from around the world and what their different religions or traditions, I should say, are, and what their day-to-day lives look like. And then this is my recommendation for language. This is a fun book that can be turned into a song that speaks on multiple different languages around the world. So I believe this book shows all of the different languages around the world, and then it gives a sample of what that religion looks like in a word. And then that is my presentation. I do believe overall that my library could have done a lot better, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done for my library, and I have given recommendations to the teacher and things that should be included more, such as I believe that there could be more cultural books added to the library, along with maybe more religious books talking about different holidays, because not all students share the same holidays. I do think that languages would be another good thing, because there are different students in that classroom that have different languages, and same with disabilities, because there are enough students in that classroom that have disabilities, and even so for other children to see what another person's life might look like. But that is my presentation, and thank you.